Chef Rich here. I love taking culinary tours and learning about food culture. You can learn so much about people based on their food and flavors. One of the things I love most about being able to travel to these different places is I never have to leave my kitchen. One thing that I have learned is people get stuck in culinary ruts. They eat the same food, and the danger of that is they never get to experience different flavors or benefit from the nutritional value different ingredients bring. Food is our greatest medicine, and here we're going to show you how to make every meal healthy. And it doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. We'll make it fast and easy, I promise. So today in our culinary travels, we're going to be taking a trip to Persia. We're going to be making a chicken and red kidney bean stew with the grilled rosemary flatbread. So get your passports and let's check out the ingredients. So the ingredients today are going to be some 1 plate herb salt. This is some amazing stuff. Then we have something a little bit new. It's turmeric. This is like the superpower of all kinds of spices. And we have some freshly ground black pepper, which it has to be freshly ground, only because it tastes a lot better than the ones that are already pre-ground. We have some garlic. The garlic, we have 2 types. We have the ground garlic, and then we have the fresh garlic. It's totally up to you which one you want to use. Today we're going to use the ground garlic only because it's a little bit easier to work with. Then we have our kidney beans, but again, it could be any bean you want. If you don't like red kidney beans, you want to use black beans, go ahead. You ain't going to hurt my feelings. Then we have onions. And again, we use onions in a lot of dishes only because it has so much flavor in there. Then we're going to our herbs. Our herbs are vitamin power packed. We're talking vitamin A, K, C, it goes on and on and on. So we have some cilantro, we have some parsley. Now there's 2 types of parsley. You have curly leaf and you have flat leaf. Whichever one you want to get, that's fine, it's not going to hurt it at all. Then we have some scallions or green onions. These are the thin ones. They come in a little bit bigger. Whichever one you want to get, again, that's fine. And then we have the bad mama jamma here, which is the chicken breast. So the first thing we're going to start with is with our bread. And I know it's kind of scary sometimes. You're like, oh, I don't know how to make a bread. I promise you, it's going to be the easiest bread you've ever made. So let's go over the ingredients. We have some whole wheat flour. Right here we have some baking powder. We also have some herb salt. And then we have some fresh rosemary that we just picked from the garden today. We're going to be adding a little bit of olive oil into it. And then the rest is going to be water. And that's it. The easiest bread, I promise you. Let's see how easy it is when we put it together. So let's get this started. Step number 1, take ingredients, add it in the bowl. Step number 2, mix it with your hands. I'm telling you, it doesn't get any easier than this. Step number 3, and again, this is an optional step. We're adding rosemary to it, but you don't have to. You could just do it with garlic if you wanted to, or just plain by itself. We're just going to take the herbs that we pulled from the garden today and just tear them up and just drop them in there. And again, you can chop it up if you want, but it's not necessary. Now, if you could smell this, it smells amazing. And I know I said the word amazing again, but I don't know how else to describe it. It's like playing in sand. So now we're gonna add the olive oil. And just to prove to you that we're only gonna use 1 tablespoon, I'm gonna measure it out for you. One tablespoon. Final ingredient, 1 cup of water. Now comes the fun part. What we gotta do is get our hands in there and start mixing it around. It's gonna feel really kind of wet and sticking to your hands a lot. Just keep working it, it'll mix in. Now I can't just say it's 1 cup of water only, because depending on what kind of flour you have or what kind that you're using, different flours have different absorption rates, meaning that it might take more than a cup, a little bit more, not a lot more than a cup, or it might take a little bit less. Now, rule of thumb, when you're making any kind of bread and things like that, it's always better to put a little bit less in than too much. A little bit less, I can always add more as I'm making my dough. But if it's too much, then I gotta add more flour, and sometimes that throws off the ratio where it's gonna be a mess. I didn't know how to put it nicely. It's just gonna be a hot mess. And then you're gonna blame me, and you're gonna hate me, and I don't want that to happen. So remember, always, rule of thumb, put in less, always add more. So now we got it all together, and you can see how it's starting to pick up. It's starting to pick up from the bowl right here. And this is what we want. We want it to kind of mix in. So I clean up the bowl completely. Now all I'm going to do is start working it on my table. Now again, the reason we work this is we want to work up that gluten that's in here. All right. Now we chose whole wheat flour only because it's high in dietary fiber. And this is what we want. We want to make sure that we get good stuff. I don't want you to get that bread that you get at the store. I don't want to name any kind of names of anybody, like any specific bread, but you know which ones they are. The ones that are like no good, that they break apart really easy. You can't make a peanut butter and jelly on them because they're so thin. You know, the ones that have 0 nutritional value and that can stay on the shelves for like 100 years. Yeah, those are the ones you want to stay away from. All right, you don't know what's in them. Now you can tell, which is great. I want you to see, you see how tacky this is? Now that means, that's telling me, and I'm working this and I'm working it, so it would start to get a little kind of drier. But what it's telling me right here is there's not enough flour. So we always have a little bit extra flour, just in case we needed to add some. Like right now, I'm gonna add a little bit more flour to it. Again, just like the rule, we can put a little bit in first, and we can always add more. But if I dump all that flour in at one time, then it's gonna be a problem. So now, once we get it mixed in, we're just gonna start kind of working it all together. And you'll see the difference as we start working this. It'll start to absorb that flour and start to come together like a dough. Now again, the reason we're doing this is we wanna work up that gluten. The more gluten we get in there, the better the bread's gonna be. So I know you're gonna be making this bread a lot once you see how easy it is. So what I recommend is that you get one of these. It's a little bench scraper. They have them in plastic, they have them in steel like this. Either one you wanna do, and all it does is it helps you kind of just clean up your board and just get all that bread that's stuck in there. And again, we can continue just working it now with a clean board. So once we get it, just a couple minutes, we're just gonna take it and kind of shape it. And when we go to shape it, I just want you to do like karate chops on the side of the bread. So you're gonna take your hands, put it to the side like that, kind of squeeze it and pinch it, and then give it a twist. And then do the same thing and kind of give it a twist. And what you're doing is you're kind of like pulling the dough like in a circle, and you're kind of pulling it like stretching it on top of itself. And I just want you to keep on doing that the whole way, just for a couple minutes. And what we want is this nice, smooth skin on top. Once we get that, we know we are good to go. So now take this, put it back in the bowl, and just let it rest. And let's start cooking the food. Now the first thing that goes into the stew is going to be the onions. So I know we've cut these a million times before, but let's go over it one more time. So we have our onion. Again, we're just going to slice down. Once we slice down, we're just going to turn it, give it a quarter of a turn, and then we're just going to slice on an angle just like that. Flip it over, and then cut one more time. And then clean up all your mess of the onions that shot all over the place. So now we're gonna put these onions in, but before we do that, we have to put what in? Oil, that's right. How much oil? Tablespoon. So I'm gonna grab some olive oil. We're gonna get it in there. Again, golden rule, pan has to be hot. And you can see the steam that's coming off of there, so we know it's nice and hot. Onions in. Oh my goodness, can you hear that? Tell me that doesn't make your heart flutter. As soon as you get the onions in there, we want to give them a little bit of a stir. So we're going to get these going. Now again, initially, if my pan is too hot, remember, one is turn down the heat. Two, if I really needed to, if it was too hot, I'm looking in there and it's starting to get too dark too fast, I can always hit it with a little bit of either chicken stock, water, maybe even a little bit of white wine. It's up to you. But we turn down the heat, so I know my onions are going good. So the next thing that goes in is our superhero, the turmeric. Why am I calling it a superhero? Turmeric is power-packed with nutrition. Antioxidant power, anti-inflammatory power. The list of benefits goes on and on and on. So we definitely want to use it up. So we're going to put about a tablespoon in. I don't mind it. It has like an earthy taste to it. But when it gets mixed with the onions, you'll see when you make this at home, it almost gives you like a coconut type smell to it. It smells delicious. So once I get the turmeric added, then I want to get in there and give it a stir. And it smells delicious. I love it. I love building these flavors. Because again, it's like I'm going on a culinary tour to somewhere else. But again, I'm not even leaving my kitchen. Now remember, we just added the dry powder. So any moisture that was in there is going to be absorbed by the powder, by the turmeric. So we want to be careful with that. We have to control the heat. And if necessary, just like a fire extinguisher, we want to have some water right nearby. Now again, how much water? You just need a little bit. We don't need a lot. You can hear it'll start to cool off the pan pretty quickly. Once I get that mixed in, it almost makes like a sauce for me, which is great. Now I'm just going to let this cook. So while that's cooking, and how long do we cook it for? We're going to cook it for about 5 minutes, just until they get translucent or they begin to get really soft and tender. While that's going, let's get our next ingredient ready. So before we go to the next ingredient, which is chicken, I want to talk about the relationship that black pepper has with turmeric. There's some properties in turmeric that really don't break down or get absorbed into the body unless they're mixed with other ingredients. One of the things that turmeric mixes well with and that helps aid in the body's digestion of it is black pepper. So we're going to add some freshly ground black pepper to this. Now again, how much do you want to add? That's totally up to you. I like it a little spicy, so for us we're going to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons. It's up to you. If you want it less spicy, you can add just a teaspoon to a tablespoon. Give it a stir, and then we'll get to that chicken. I can see it's looking almost like a sauce. It looks really, really good. So I'm not worried about it like burning to the bottom at all right now. I feel very comfortable. So we got that mixed in. I'm just gonna let it sit. Let's start working on that chicken. Now again, we want to be careful. We don't want to cross-contaminate. So we have a completely different cutting board to cut our chicken. Now I know we say this all the time, but again, I don't want to put this whole big piece of chicken, really thick pieces in there. So what we're going to do is just gently, again, putting your palm completely on the chicken breast. You want your fingers to be pointed up. Then I'm just going to take my knife and just gently slice down. Then I'm going to open this up. And again, using my knife, just gently cut through, almost like I'm opening a book. All right, every time I kind of make my cut, I pull a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, until it completely opens up like that. Now from here, all I'm gonna do is slice it and dice it. So we'll just take this, cut this up really quick. Again, you don't have to be too crazy with, you know, how perfect it has to be. Don't go crazy with stuff like that. So we have it sliced up. Now all I'm gonna do is take it and just dice it up. So we just take this, and then from here, I'm just gonna throw this right into the onion mix. If you didn't want to use chicken, what else could you use? You could use turkey, you could use fish, you could use shrimp. Could you do beef? You could do beef, pork. It's totally up to you. So we'll get our chicken in there. And then give it a stir. Make sure it gets mixed in well. Okay, so that's good. When you make this at home, I know you can agree, it smells very exotic in here. I love it. Makes me feel special. Now before, again, we move on to the next step, what do we gotta do? Clean the hands. We got chicken all over it. Clean hand, clean tools. Very, very important. No cross-contamination here. So if this stew wasn't delicious enough, we're gonna take it up to another notch. We're gonna add a little bit of garlic to it. So again, just like we said before, we can use fresh garlic or we can use powdered garlic. Today we decided to use the powdered garlic. So we'll just add a little bit to it. How much? Again, that's totally up to you. We'll add about a tablespoon in there. And again, what's happening now is this chicken is cooking. Everything is starting to kind of blend together flavor-wise, and this is what we want. Next step that goes in is going to be all the herbs. Now remember, we have cilantro, we have parsley, and we have some scallions. So what we're going to do is get a quick rough chop and get that in there. So first thing I'll put in is going to be the green onion. Now with the green onion, it's really easy to use. The only thing I don't want you to use, I want you to use the whole thing except for this part right here. This part, I don't want you to use that, the root part. So what we're gonna do is cut that off. So just line them up and just cut it. Get rid of that part, and everything else I want you to use. All right, so all we're gonna do now is just, again, just rough chop it, go through, and just cut it up. It doesn't have to be any specific size. I mean, we want it bite size. We don't want it too big, but it doesn't have to be like exactly the same. So once we get all that chopped up, this goes in the pot. From this point on, it goes pretty quick. So green onion goes in. Just get it all in there. Give it a stir. So we mix that in well. And then we go to the next, parsley. Now this has already been pre-washed. And if yours isn't, if you just took it out of the bag, I definitely recommend it. You just give it a little rinse. So now from here, again, same thing, just a rough chop. You'll see some people say, don't use the stems, don't use the stems. That's crazy. You paid for it, I want you to use it and eat it. All right, so we're gonna chop up the whole entire thing. How? Again, same thing you just did with the scallions or the green onion. Just give it a rough chop and just take the whole thing and toss it in. And I know you're saying, that's a lot of herbs. And it is, But what's gonna happen, it's gonna break down and give you the most amazing herbaceous flavor that you've ever had. All right, so we mix that in. Last part is gonna be the cilantro. Again, same thing. We're just gonna rough chop it and add it in. Now again, I love using all these herbs because besides the amazing flavor that it brings, it also brings a whole bunch of nutritional value. Now we're talking antioxidant power, we're talking anti-inflammatory power, all kinds of vitamins and minerals that's gonna be in here. So this is what we want. And the cost, you're gonna be shocked when I tell you how much everything costs. But before that, let's get to stirring. Make sure everything's incorporated. Now obviously, by how much herbs we put in here, the color of the stew is gonna be green, which is good. And it's gonna be extremely flavorful. So we got that all mixed in. Oh my goodness, if you could smell this, it smells delicious. So the next thing that goes in, water. How much water? We're only gonna use about 1 cup to 2 cups of water. You just want about 2 cups the most for all this. So you see it's not a soup, it's not drowning in it, but it's just enough where it kind of covers almost everything. So we're just gonna give this a little stir. And then from here, I'm gonna turn up the heat. And just simmer for about 5 minutes. Then I'm gonna add the beans and let that simmer for another 5 minutes just until they warm up. Stew is done. So it's simmered for about 5 minutes. Next step, beans. Let's get them in. So now with the beans, we're using canned beans. Now again, you can always use the fresh beans if you wanted to, but remember, we're trying to get you in and out of the kitchen as quick as possible, and that's gonna add a couple hours to your cooking time. So let's get our beans in. Now we're only gonna cook these just to warm them. Now again, if you wanted to use black beans, you can use black. You can use garbanzo beans. You can use any bean or legume that you want. It's totally up to you. Or you can just omit them completely. And you can see the color in here is just incredible. Now again, remember that color translates into nutritional value, which translates into a happier, healthier life. So we'll get this going now. Only thing left here to do is just let it simmer. So we're gonna put it up a little bit and just let it simmer for a good 5 to 8 minutes, just until the beans are warmed through. I know the chicken is cooked, I know everything else is cooked. Remember the herbs, we just really wanna warm them up. We don't wanna let it go too much. We don't want them to turn like a dark brown. We wanna keep them that nice vibrant green color. So just like when we cook everything, we wanna set the timer. I'm gonna set mine now. So now we're gonna work on our rosemary grilled flatbread. So what we gotta do is just take it out. At this point, I'm telling you, this is gonna be so easy. We're just gonna take the dough, and again, now we're gonna do another technique. I want you to roll it against your pinky and your thumb, and you're just gonna roll. Now again, if you didn't wanna do it like this, that's fine. Pick it up, put it in your hand, and just roll it like a meatball. It's up to you, however you wanna do it. Once we get it rolled out nicely, we're gonna get our rolling pin, and just start rolling this out. So again, we wanna make this pretty thin. And you'll see the more we do it, the bigger it's gonna get. Now again, I have some flour here just in case it starts to stick. I don't want you to use it unless it's really starting to stick to your board. A little bit of tackiness is okay, as long as it pulls up like this is pulling up really easy. Again, if it sticks to your rolling pin, that's also fine. So we're gonna get this rolled out. Depending on how thick you want the dough, that's totally up to you. I like it thin, so I'm gonna roll it out to be pretty thin. But if you like the thicker piece of bread, go for it. Again, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. So we have it just like that, it looks perfect. Now from right here, I'm gonna go into a hot pan that I have. I have a grill pan. It doesn't have to be a grill pan. It could be just a regular saute pan if you wanted to. Now you wanna make sure the pan is nice and hot. And we're just gonna drop that right in there. So the timer just went off. Bread is done. We already grilled it. Looks delicious. Our stew is done. Smells amazing. Now the last thing we got to do is serve. So that ends our culinary travel for today. A pot full of culture, flavor, and nutrition for under $20. So just like I promised, saving you money at the grocery store, saving you time in the kitchen, and getting you healthy. One plate at a time. God bless, and I'll see you next week.